me.
229.
Hey, look, it just sits on you when you do that.
Oh, man.
It's waiting for the new sound. I'm sorry. I was just mesmerized by technology. This is NetHeads.
With clever meme, with funny tweet, I'll never leave my office seat. Those who think they know what's right, listen on Sundays to NetHeads, all right?
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now. So when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek, giving you the info you need to achieve mega nerd status. NetHeads.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
I think that's the closest in a long time
Yeah.
we've come to starting on time.
Yeah, we're like within 10 minutes, dude.
Yeah, that's a first for anybody that tries to watch us live.
Yeah.
Bring that beat back.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'd like to apologize to anyone watching the video, since apparently that's who we're catering to right this moment. By the way, welcome everybody. Another edition of Heads. My name's Will.
I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. The main one, the one that everybody seems to like, is Twitter. Trent, how do they do that?
Well, it's really easy. Just use the hashtag NetHeads, like Simon Fisher 7, who asks, can the show start on time? Will Trent have written his first comic? Is it a talk show? Find out soon on YouTube.
There you go. Same net time, same net channel.
Smodcast.com.
Oh, very good. I like that.
See what I did there?
Oh, that's brilliant, my friend. Brilliant. Anyway, for those of you watching the video, well, actually, yes, maybe I am wearing lady glasses. I don't know. I had one of those situations come up where you're cleaning your glasses, Trent, and then suddenly just the arm pops off. And
yep.
Like, that's now I had one thing, now I have two. That's bad. And the glasses that I'm wearing now, they are literally my backup ones. So the idea is that once something goes wrong with those, I think when I bought them, there was an option to get a second pair for free. But it was like from a specific list of
these frames or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And so what you wind up with is for all I know, they're lady frames, but they're not my main ones, and the new ones are on the way. So,
but that's okay because, like, they're not like grandma frames. You know what I mean? Like the huge, like, and I of all people love huge lenses, but that have like the droop down and then back up into the lenses that come off of the earpieces, and then you don't have like chains attached to them that come down around your neck so that you don't lose them.
Yeah, it's not going that, but this really looks like Lady Librarian to me. I don't know.
Oh, I think hey, you know what I think it looks like?
No.
Sexy Librarian.
Hey, right on, man. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get at this point. Anything that associates the name sexy with me. Actually, it'd be interesting to see what comes down the pike, because I ordered a pair that are more like a pair that I've had in the past. It's the half clear rim, so it's very standard. And I looked at unlike when I bought these, I looked at the arm length and the lens height.
Smart.
But I also did because I've always got this inkling. I don't know what it is, but I've always got this inkling for wanting large frames with thick black. Kind of. Well, hold on. Say anything, Trent. Say any word at all.
Boobs.
See, it's kind of like what you got rocking. But the cool thing is, anytime you use these websites, no matter which one it was, Coastal, Warby Parker, doesn't matter.
Sure.
Any one of them you use, they always have a money back. So you can order glasses, see them, try them on, and then say, you know what, these they don't work. And no matter what.
I've never done it before. Like I'm always enticed to do it, but I haven't. It's like, because I just think like, oh, it's such a fucking pain in the ass when you have to like send stuff back is the worst. Like I want it now.
I can't actually. You know what? It's funny because we can bring up a little behind the scenes stuff. Not that it's really important at all, but in this particular case, my main man Trent there has been waiting for a birthday present for over a year. And you're right though, dude, because all I had to do, literally, was drive to the post office, walk up to a nice little kiosk machine, weigh the box, enter some buttons, slide my card, drop it in a slot. I didn't even have to interact with people.
I know, isn't it great?
It's wonderful, except you just got to get down to the. I mean, literally a year, I think. And 3 weeks ago, I got all excited. I sent Trent a picture of his present in the box because he knew what it was. And then I also sent him like the box sealed up and labeled. I'm like, I think shit's really gonna happen.
Yeah,
still didn't happen for 2 weeks.
Doesn't matter. It's here, baby. It's here.
Yeah, and this is actually this is interesting. Trent's gift has a little bit of history to it. This is something. What happened was it was the original Prime. That's how long I've had this. It was the original
Prime Day.
Prime Day, which actually was last year, 2015. And we picked up this because it's like, oh, well, maybe we'll be able to use this on the road for SMOD. And why don't you tell them what it is?
Well, it's freaking rad. It's an 8-track Tascam recorder that it basically can act as a mixing board as well, not just capturing what you're recording, but you can mix and tweak and do everything you do on a mixing board, all right here in this like self-contained recorder, essentially. You know, normally I don't have it right here with me, but you know, you have like a regular MP3 recorder. Zoom is the big name to use. I for one am a Tascam fan. There's 2 cams.
That's quite all right.
Side. But this one is the tits, man. Oh.
Well, I think the thing that I like, the thing that, first of all, and I don't mean to say I gave you a gift I didn't want, but the first thing that I wasn't aware of on it was that it has a maximum of 2, it has 8 channels altogether, but a maximum of 2 recordable.
Correct.
But if you think about this, for somebody that's especially like yourself, Trent, who's actually a little more what I would call musically talented than I am.
Oh, stop.
That means that you could go, like, let's say you had a friend that had a garage band. You could literally go there and you could record 2 channels. You guys could play it back and listen to it. And then literally they could record on another 2 instruments on 2 different channels. Yep. And then you could play it back. So like you said, it's like a mixing studio kind of almost.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely is. Yeah.
And the one thing that was very nice, and I hope you don't mind me reiterating this, but I think when the discussion of it came up, it's like, oh my God, dude, check it out. This is on Prime Day. I think the words you used were, I totally fapped to that thing.
I do remember that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, it's, you know what? Even if I don't remember, it kind of sounds like.
No, I do. Which is why it's still in the plastic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. You know, you want to
first, Will. Safety first.
And then teamwork. By the way, hashtag NetHeads. We got that fracking cat and Raphael Noack from We Are Not Here to Please You.
Oh, nice.
At WANHTPY joining us as well. So that's pretty dope. By the way, also want to apologize, Trent. Once again, our show did not go out for several days, but turns out we were in some pretty good company. I wasn't even aware of this. But somebody organized International Podcast Day for yesterday.
Right.
So.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that.
It literally became just how many podcasts can we put out in one day?
Yeah.
One of them, though, I gotta say, once again, we are slowly digressing back into being the radio askew of the podcast here.
Yeah.
One of the things that dropped yesterday, I'm super psyched about. We don't get a lot of the what I would call true Kevin Smith Q&As when it comes to special editions of Smodcast.
Right.
What I mean by that is you might have a special event like a Comic-Con panel of the comic book men. We've heard that before on there.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when they were on the podcast bus last year. Once again, the comic book men appearing at New York Comic-Con this year, I think this upcoming weekend.
Yep, this next weekend.
So anyway, they we don't really get a true Q&A experience. And the most recent Smodcast and the next one are actually from this Q&A that Kevin Smith recently did in Denton, Texas. It had an intro by Jason Lee, but I'm really excited about it because
former Scientologist Jason Lee.
Former, very interesting.
Yes, we got it back, folks.
I didn't know you could actually get retrieved.
Well, you know,
Scientology.
We'll see if he is around for another year.
Yeah. There's an entire clone army of Tom Cruises will bring him back, kicking and screaming.
It's a very short army.
Ryan Connolly wants to know that I'm at WOF Haunt. That's hashtag WOF Haunt. NetHeads, you know, we own fear. So currently, and by the way, apologies to Ryan Connolly. In the podcast version of the show, he was basically removed because what I figured out is that the Skype machine, the volume is probably set too high on its output. So
and so when the limiter hits, that's where it cuts out on me.
Yeah, exactly. That was happening because that channel does have a compressor running on it.
That makes total sense.
It's like, it's way too loud. Let's turn it way down, and that's why you hear nothing.
Yep.
But I have turned down the volume down. So if you want to also take part in the program another way, it's very simple. NetHeads on air via Skype. If you don't understand the Skype and you only know how to work a telephone, though, you can use YakBet9020 or 866. No, 8. Oh God. 866-610-WILL.
Will.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember the last 4.
I think once again I literally started to give out the Comedy World telephone number, which appears to happen about once every 100 episodes here on NetHeads, I guess. Which I can say because we are over 100. We're over 200 episodes.
Yeah.
How is that? I got to ask you.
229 to be specific.
How is that? Oh, we forgot to do that, didn't we?
No, we did it.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, it would just kind of
there was a long gap because I did a software upgrade on the Sir transmitter per se.
Yeah.
And when I went to go put us live there, it's just like, that's not a valid input. Moving on. At least that's what I hear when I see that. I mean, it was just a line of text. It just said invalid input, and then but I like that. Anyway, so the latest episode of Smodcast, which is number 359. I want to say.
Okay.
Yep, 359. And it is this Q&A from Denton, Texas. Now, the best part is that it's a 2-parter. But in itself, it is really a Q&A experience because Kevin intros it, or he does intro it, then it goes into the actual Q&A, where he says, you know, even in there, don't go like many people deep in the lines because you'll be standing around. You know, I talk a whole lot, so you don't want to be standing for the whole show.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's throw back to the good old Q&A days. People are sitting, waiting for their turn in the aisle. To get up and ask a question. So
you don't want to be one of those people. And then this special limited edition 1 hour, because it's part 1 of the Denton Q&A. It's a complete and total story, and it's beautiful because it literally is one question answered at about 45 minutes of answer. So
yeah.
But the good news is there will be quite a few more in the second part, so that's exciting. So if you've always wanted to go to a Kevin Smith Q&A and you never have, and you for whatever reason are listening to us and haven't listened to an episode of Smodcast, highly encourage it. Highly.
Yeah. Yes.
So that out of the way, Trent, how the hell are you doing,
dude? Doing well. Will, doing well. No complaints on my end. Been a little gassy, but you know what? Other than that, it's fine. Nothing out of normal.
I like that that you're so honest and you bring things forward. Now, my only question though is, are you referring to today, or are you just noticing, wow, this week has been really weird, and I haven't increased my cabbage intake? So.
Wow, dude, this week has been weird. But you know, yeah.
I guess it's all whatever Beehive Grill decides to feed you on Wednesday.
That's true. On Hot Meal Wednesday.
It's Hot Meal Wednesday. I want you to know, NetHeads on Air on Twitter is probably going to start recognizing this officially. It's Hot Meal Wednesday, folks. Here's your inspiration.
It was great. I actually so I do Shosterwitz. It's a pub trivia, and they pay me in a meal, which is nice of them. And I got a turkey burger Reuben, which was really good. I didn't think I was going to enjoy the turkey burger, but it was much more enjoyable than I expected. Would have still rathered a regular Reuben.
Understandable. You know, it's a totally different experience. One is turkey, one is pastrami.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you know, it's like the classic challenge between a veggie burger and a regular hamburger. Thank you, Nick Offerman. Like, it is what it is, and nothing will ever be able to beat it.
This is meat cooked on a grill.
Here's ketchup you can put on it if you'd like.
Yeah, that for those that don't know, that is the a great episode of Parks and Recreation. Where,
yes, so good.
And I felt that way too. It was the competition between a turkey burger and a regular burger, and
yes,
and I understand where the Tom Cruise. Oh, what the hell, Rob Lowe character?
We were just talking about him. It's fine.
But the Rob Lowe character, I often feel like him because I will admit I do have an awesome turkey burger recipe. That said, though, if you just compared it to a piece of meat that's just been salt and peppered and then cooked with fire, and folks, I've first world problems. You know, I've had a grass-fed beef now for 2 years in this damn household.
Shit.
So
You can't go back.
No, you can't. I don't think. I really don't, because it's a different texture to the fat of all things, and it seems like
it marbles better.
It also seems to, for lack of a better term, melt at lower temperatures, so you can still get a very well crafted piece of meat, but not have to put up with the same levels of fat. You know,
Well, and you don't have to cook it for as long either.
That too. You know, one thing I will say that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, you know, and part of it's out of concern and food safety and security, so I can appreciate it. But one of the things you want to do, and I don't know if anyone has told you this yet or not, avid NetHeads listener, but one of the most important things that it comes to when you are talking about cooking and preparing meat, believe it or not, you want your meat at room temperature you start.
Oh yes. Otherwise, it's not going to open up and soak up its own juices, as you will, Wilkins. See what I did there?
Why do you got to bring the Jews into it, though? I don't understand.
Oh yeah, and the Jews.
He said with a Jew. He did it with a Jew. I'm really excited and just sitting here waiting for the email because there was finally an episode of Hollywood Babylon last night. So I'm going to effectively get all of my appropriate news and Hollywood news by Monday.
Finally.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I don't know, Trent. And now let's get off of the Smodco internet network bully pulpit, if you will.
Okay.
For a moment.
Sure.
Do you have any other podcasts that are kind of like that? I know that when it came to like traditional radio, for example, if something would happen, I know that I would be like, oh, I can't wait to hear such and such a take on this on Monday.
Oh, sure.
And Hollywood Babylon is a podcast much in the same way for me that I really look forward to when it happens. It's one I'm going to get information. I'm going to get entertained. Yep. I mean, do you have any other podcasts that are like that for you? But
in some other genres, for sure, highly recommend. And I'm always waiting for their take on it. The Full of Sith podcast, which are a few Star Wars experts. And it was funny. I was actually talking to the creator and producer Brian Young the other day, and he was just talking about how he's like, oh shit, a Star Wars podcast that can only last maybe 10 episodes max. And gosh, they've been going for 3 years now.
Never underestimate the length of a podcast.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, what was it? I remember listening to Kevin once. He was doing a Q&A here in Utah, and he was just talking about how you know, you start out doing what you love. And so if what you love is Donatello, then by God, you go and you do as many podcasts about Donatello as you can. And then only when you finally exhausted that, then do you move on to Leonardo.
Yeah, finally, when you get to episode 99 and suddenly you're all, you know what? Fuck Donatello. Raphael is where it's at. If I may crib the line appropriately. Yeah, well, actually, you know what? That name is very familiar to me, Trent, because, and I was not aware of the fact that you knew the guy, but Pod U just put out a new episode where,
Yes.
and I love the concept of this. Now,
dude, isn't it great?
this is a podcast. It's called Faux-Authentic History.
Authentic history, like, you know, like a faux hawk, FAUX.
Yeah, but the cool thing about it is they take events from like science fiction movies. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And they treat them like a real historical look back upon it to historian experts. And the one that we featured was actually, it was like a recounting of the Battle of Hoth.
Yes, dude. Oh my God, it's so good.
And the way they do it, they structure it very well. So that was featured on PodU. And if you want to know more about how you may be able to submit your podcast for PodU, just go to smodcast.com/PodU rules. That's PODURULES. Okay, got that out of the way. Yeah, I would have never thought this would go. First of all, I never thought Kevin would have left us on his network for this long.
Shh, we're under the radar.
Maybe not. I guess the finally, you know, we came up on the radar when the next week you find out, hey, everybody, you can find us now purely at netheadsonair.com.
Yeah. Oh shit, we got found.
Or hey, it's Radio Askew 100 finally. 6 years later. Whoa, and once again we killed Trent. Sorry,
I haven't done that for a while.
No, you haven't. So Trent, I know I've gotten some feedback. I find this very interesting. First of all, I noticed it's funny the things we notice. So here on NetHeads, if in case you have not tapped into it or in case this is your first episode, when we go live, we do it one of two ways. We're either out live on the Smodco Internet Network or
Smodcast.com.
Or we stream, very good. We stream video out through YouTube, mostly because it allows me to see Trent, but it's another distribution channel, and you can't ignore distribution channels. You know, it's like, before I know it, there's going to be a computer that's running this out on YouTube at the same time we're relaying it to Facebook Live and
here and there and everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's not like the videos don't get a large audience. Okay, they're like what, 60, 70 views per, whatever.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it's exposing us one way or another. Anyway, so we distribute through these video channels, and we do all this to try and get attention. But I got to tell you, man, I kind of started to hit on this last week. I don't understand how people with real lives can keep up with the social media demands for staying current.
Sure. For being where your audience is, which potentially is everywhere.
Well, I think that's the reason why you see that the people that are quote unquote successful on the internet really are the people where that's their job.
Yeah. Yeah. Like and they treat it as such.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way to keep up. So anyway, our videos aren't our most progressive thing. They aren't our most immediate thing, but they're out there. I had to say though, at the point where there were only 7 views on last week's video, I was quite astonished to see that somebody had given it a thumbs down.
You know what? I accept that.
No, but here's the thing. I don't really think they watched it. I find it hard to believe anybody is even finding our videos.
It's made it all the way to the end, let alone taking the critique upon it.
Except for our second, I don't know whatever happened on our second video, and I still want some answers. Because that one got like 3,000 or 5,000 views. And suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, dude, if we can count these numbers.
Done it.
We finally cracked, because that's really what it's all about. If you were to get enough views, then whatever that window is into monetization, once you finally crack that open, you're supposed to be able to just cast away all your free concerns and be like, I'm living life on the net now, bitches.
Assuming you're adhering to Google's new content censorship monetization.
which I will admit you'll probably hear us cursing less here on the show. But you know what? I don't even mean to do that to kowtow to YouTube. I just think that personally, I think cursing just it's not that it's a good reflection or a bad reflection. I know it's the way we all really talk. But I often think too that, you know, friends and family could watch these things, and you want to put the best foot forward, I guess. You know, we can curse all we want when we're not doing a program. But you know, when we are, we can just we can say butt stuff. That's fine. But I'm just saying, what about the cursing? And by the way, I'm not being egotistical. I when the person that marked that one as not liking the video, because I do, anyone that come across it, I could fully accept it. But I mean, not only did they watch it, but they took the time to click and say, you know what? No, fuck these guys. Boom.
Yeah.
After I said no cursing.
But here's the thing though, dude, and I will say this. In the art of professional wrestling, there is only one thing that you can do wrong, and that is to create apathy. So at least we force them to have an opinion, right? Isn't that what art is supposed to do? Is to make you feel something, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to evoke a reaction.
Totally,
so.
exactly.
And you know what? In some ways too, it almost kind of makes us like therapy, because that guy could be like, yeah, you know what? Fuck these netheads.
Yeah.
They clicked that button, and then the rest of his day was nice because he felt.
Then he was
all,
like, oh,
yeah, exactly. He felt
got it out.
You know, or she, whoever, but you know, whatever. I found that very funny, because I'm like, not many people actually watch these things. And you look at the others, there's not many thumbs down on any of them. Many of them, I mean.
Yeah.
Or I'm pulling a Trump and remembering the facts all wrong. Yeah. Speaking of which,
I just hope it wasn't me that did it this time.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Christ, that Wilkins just kept talking.
You imagine? I'm just like, create up this whole account to troll ourselves. I'm like, this piece of shit.
After all this time, I'm finally gonna show Wilkins. This is it. Oh, okay, you follow me on every other social media outlet. I'll teach you, Mr. Wilkins. Oh gosh, I gotta take the time to slam myself, or he's gonna be on to us. Who's the us, Trent? Never you mind.
Don't worry about it. Inner monologue. Yes, we did go through a very painfully awkward, beyond awkward debate this week, Will.
Yeah, that's and that's where I was going with this. All this, I don't know why I veered off on the social media thing, but I did actually receive a complaint about our podcast recently. I don't really receive many. You could pan it all you want everywhere, that's fine. But I mean, like, somebody taking the time to reach out and communicate with us.
And be like, hey, man.
Which, by the way, you can still do NetHeads on air via Gmail if you wanted to write us an email, too. We keep forgetting about all the different things to plug. You got the email, the website, the Facebook, the YouTube, and then then after all that, we got to remember to do ads. It's like, come on, man.
And now, and I haven't even checked because I'm behind the times on this one. Google Play now available for podcasts.
Yeah, we're on there. We're on there.
See, you're ahead of me.
The moment it was announced, I had to submit everything from smodcast.com.
Yeah, well, you know.
Even things that we didn't know existed yet, we had to do that. By the way,
that's how we get found out, Will.
Okay, so let's stick with this, Trent. But I want you to just later on, you have to remember one thing, so I don't forget this story. And all you have to remember is your name. Thank you. So, what was that? Anyway, I was gonna. I don't know either. What I was gonna say was, we don't really receive many complaints, but I did receive one complaint where people were like, I go to the news for my political stuff.
Sure.
I come to NetHeads to laugh,
to giggle,
to be entertained.
Yeah. And
I fully recognize that, and I agree. But that being said, I don't think there's any way you can't talk about. I mean, let's not even talk about the uncomfortable or awkward debate. Let's not talk about the complete, what appears to be, as I put it the other day, complete acceptance of his own bullshit.
Yeah.
There was the awkward credibility attempted to be given to online snap polls to demonstrate one person won and one didn't.
Oh yeah. Which I mean, come on, that can't measure anything.
Well, but Okay, let me continue. Even that, like,
Yes.
okay, you can let it slide. Clearly, somebody's acting presidential, somebody's not. But then, Trent, I can't believe the role that Twitter is playing in this election. First of
Yeah.
all, one candidate is constantly contradicted by their own historical tweets. I never
Sure.
said that. So now, mind you, though, if somebody says, I never said that, okay, and the only thing they did was type it on Twitter, are they lying?
Well, I mean, I guess it's all definition of speech, right?
I never spoke it aloud. So
Right.
it would be appropriate to say he has written that. And
right.
then you,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. True. But I mean,
All
then if you're gonna look at the First Amendment, you got to understand what is free speech, and that is also the written word. So that would include anything you put out is saying it.
You're saying you might assume that somebody that's running for president may have read the Constitution?
Well, hey, I wouldn't go that far, you know.
At this point, neither would I, because not only has that come up, but this is the part that amazes me. First of all, that any presidential candidate would tweet anything but campaign-oriented materials.
Right. Yeah, you think that's the main focus during the campaign?
Yeah, that's what I would stick with.
Yeah.
But not only that, but also, Trent, for the first time in history, a presidential candidate has encouraged the American public
Oh no.
to view a sex tape.
Wait, what?
You haven't heard about this? Okay.
No. Well, tell me this is referring to his Miss Piggy response.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so
Oh, no.
obviously I've tried to sound bipartisan, but it really it's almost amazing to see the trend mark. We're not going to get political about it.
No,
I'm not going to
This is pop culture. You know what I mean? This is something that's happening. We're not saying it's good or bad. We're just saying
we're just observing that it happened. So
yes.
during the debate, first of all, I have to be honest, Trent. I don't know if it's because of my age or because I was exhausted, but I nearly had, or more to the point, I think I did. I think I had a visceral physical reaction because I was concerned about what may transpire during the debate. To clarify the point without leaning too far one way or the other, I was very concerned that one candidate may come off somehow mystically and magically far better than they ever possibly could have been anticipated to.
Yeah.
15 minutes into the debate, my visceral physical reaction was gone.
Right.
Because I saw that was clearly not going to be the case.
Right.
So that said, one of the things that came from the debate that really seemed to happen was that Donald Trump was not prepared for the debate, whereas Hillary Clinton was. In doing so, you could tell that part of her.
Well, I was just going to say, and self-admittedly, one said they were preparing, and one said they were just going to go into it.
Yeah, and to the point of that as well, there's even a response from the other candidate, Hillary Clinton. You could tell everything was masterfully planned out. It's like, if this point is brought up, you say this. If this happens to be, if he says anything about you staying home, then you say, yeah, I think he just said I was preparing for this, which I think is a good, or I was preparing for this, and I'm preparing to be president, which I think is boom. Like, yeah, it's just
it's all predetermined. We're gonna this to this to this.
This was kind of like, hey, we just found out Ann Coulter's going to be on the dais, and everybody is just trying to pull out their perfect zinger in that case.
Right? Yeah, totally.
This was similar. So one of the strategies, I think it's fair to say that one of the strategies that was utilized by the Clinton camp was to hit hot topic items that would be sure to get under Trump's skin, with the thinking that he has a very high opinion of himself, so naturally he will get distracted and he will start to become unhinged, because
trying to throw gas on the fire as it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta tell you, it obviously worked.
It did. Yeah.
So one of the things that they're saying, first of all, I gotta say, I love the way it panned out. One of the things that happened during this election cycle is that Trump hasn't shown us his tax returns.
Correct.
Hillary Clinton brings it up brings up the speculative point, which I don't agree with doing during a debate.
Yeah, that was very Trumpish. I mean, that was very.
Yeah, but it was.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of credence given to any details on it, but it's like, well, why doesn't he want to show us his tax? What does he have to hide? Is he not saying? Has he not paid taxes? At which point, my God, why would you then say that makes me smart?
Yeah, it's because it makes me smart.
When you're talking about the government doesn't have enough money, and you're talking about some of the richest people in the country not contributing any money back to the anyway.
Yeah, when you're talking about lowering taxes for the rich.
And then immediately after the debate to say that you didn't say that? I mean, like immediately after.
I didn't say that.
Somebody had a wonderful tweet after the fact, because he's like, everybody's saying I won the debate, and the person tweeted, okay, hear me out on this one. What if, just if, Trump has an imaginary friend named everybody, and that person does say these things?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, I never thought of that, but you might be onto something there, Sparky. Anyway, so she brought up that, and the tax returns thing came up, and I just love the way he almost had a decent retort, which in a way, but in a way it's stupid too, to me as a person that's educated on the entire scenario. Yes, the email situation is an uncomfortable thing, but when you get right down to it, there was no real damage done.
Right.
So that being said, Trump came up with the comeback. I'll release my taxes when you release the 33,000 deleted emails.
Yeah.
Relatively semi-decent zinger.
Yeah.
But not really. But anyway, semi-decent. But then Lester Holt says, okay, so Mr. Trump, are you saying it's negotiable?
Dude, I'll be honest.
At which point Trump immediately said, no, it's not.
Lester Holt, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are not fans, but I was cracking up at some of the stuff he had and was like trying to manage throughout the thing.
Yeah. Well, especially trying to keep people relatively under control and them.
Yeah. Well, and on, things that are germane to what the question was.
Yeah. And even bringing up, I'm sorry, I don't think you answered the question. So, how would you say anyway?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you saw, directly afterwards, Hillary Clinton went and shook Lester Holt's hand, and Lester goes to shake Trump's hand, and Trump kind of gives him a cold shoulder and like walks off to the side.
I couldn't tell which way that went. I saw the footage. I couldn't tell if it was him shining Holt off or if Holt actually started to sit down.
Holt kind of like put his hand behind his head, like, not gonna get a handshake. But then he did come up and shake his hand afterwards.
I'll have to review the tape.
I noticed that one right off the bat. Yeah, but the other part that cracked me up is freaking Bill Clinton, right? After the guy's just, he oozes charisma among other things. But it's on a dress. I mean, we have evidence. He's like sitting there just shaking people's hands up from the stage and everything. And there's this secret service agent behind him who keeps on like saying, like bending down to pull him back. Like, you can't do that. Like, stop doing that. And it happens like 4 different times until finally she pulls him back and like they have like a little conversation about what he can and can't do. It was so funny.
Mr. Clinton, please, I'm telling you, you cannot do this.
He's like, I don't understand why not.
So one of the things that I never would have expected to completely and totally derail the situation. And by the way, another thing too that I think this debate will do for future debates, what we'll see is there will be greater preparation and consideration for what you do during your quote unquote idle time, because you could definitely tell that Clinton's camp said this is going to be split monitor. You're going to be up there the whole time. And I don't know why it's a big deal for guys in this country, but Mrs. Clinton, please, you're going to have to smile.
Smile the whole time. Smile.
And no matter, and whatever he says, do not react in a negative way. Just pretend he's, whatever. Because he was the complete opposite. I mean, it was just, well, there was the sniffle, but it was also just like his reactions, like even an audible sigh, which for those that may not recall, during the Al Gore, George W. Bush debates.
Oh, yeah.
a sigh was considered to be one of the undoings of Al Gore.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Because it was just like, it was a kind of sigh. It's just like you're getting bullied by somebody on the school grounds. And
yeah.
Anyway, so where was I going with this? Oh, so one of the things that I never would have thought would have gotten under their skin, or Trump's to be precise,
sure,
was somehow, I think it was bringing up maybe her temperament and being presidential. And then
where she says she doesn't look presidential.
Yeah, and so then Hillary came in with a comment about how the way Mr. Trump treats women, and there was a specific example, which I don't even remember her name. Alicia Mikado, I think might be the name.
Yeah, she was Miss Universe.
Yeah, you know what, folks, look it up. I mean, there are greater details in the news than you'll ever get here. Yeah. But the interesting thing about it was the references to calling her Miss Piggy because she had gained weight, and there was a real thing in the news where Trump brought the media in to watch her exercise because she was getting back into Miss Universe shape or what have you.
Yeah, and this was just after he had taken over the Miss Universe pageant ownership of it, and so it was kind of like a
And then I guess allegedly also referred to her as Miss Cleaning Lady because she's from the Dominican Republic or somewhere.
Right.
And which is, if true, is cold. And then just like first of all, I never would have thought that this event would have taken over the week as much as it had. This one thing from the debate. So put a pause on that for a second.
Right.
First things first, Trump's reaction during the debate was like the worst thing that he could do, because he just jumped in. It's like where did you get that? Where did you hear that?
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, no. You want to be calm and balanced.
Yeah.
But then that one thing has become like the topic of the week. So much so that at starting at either 5 a.m. or 3 a.m. East Coast time from Thursday to Friday, Trent, Donald Trump went on a Twitter tirade, which I'm sure is the one thing his camp has tried to keep him from doing as much as possible.
Sure. It's like,
look, Friday morning, somebody woke up and said, oh, God, it was my turn to take the phone.
We didn't change his password last night.
Well, you know what could have happened overnight? No. Okay, so let me bring you some facts, folks. Okay, so from here, oh wait, what is he saying now? 2 hours ago, I won the debate if you decide without watching the totally one-sided spin that followed. This despite the really bad microphone. Yeah, okay, keep going about the microphone. So it was like at 3 a.m. Anytime you see a story about me or my campaign saying sources said, do not believe it. There are no sources. They are just made up lies. Oh, hello, pot. This is the kettle. You're black.
Yeah.
Then, wow, Crooked Hillary was duped and used by the worst Miss Universe. Hillary floated her as an angel. Using Alicia M. in the debate as a paragon of virtue just shows that Crooked Hillary suffers from bad judgment. Now, here's the one. Did Crooked Hillary help disgusting, parentheses, check out sex tape and past, close parentheses, Alicia M. become a U.S. citizen so she could use her in the debate? First of all, let me break down why this tweet is stupid, Trent.
Okay, please do.
First, it's a presidential candidate encouraging the American public to look at a sex tape. That's the one stupid thing.
Yeah.
Second, a 10-second Google. He could have said, hey, Alexa. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, Google. Okay, Siri. When did Alicia Mikado become a U.S. citizen? Alicia Mikado, former Miss Universe, received her citizenship in 1998.
Oh, shit.
Simple Google search. And here's the thing. It is the base disregard for information that here's another thing too that you never would have expected to come out of a presidential debate. Howard Stern being name checked during a presidential debate.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. And Rosie O'Donnell and Sean Hannity.
Dude. And it just, you never would have expected these things. But this is pop culture. This is where we live now.
It is. It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
But I gotta say, and I brought this up again last week, and I'll bring it up again this week. The media is doing themselves no favors in the way that they are covering things, because it really is. It's an 80-20. It's 80% Trump, 20% Clinton. That's what it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Unless you look at the way the voting is getting predicted, that's getting more 80%, and then
Right.
flip-flop them around.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting. That's part of the reason why I had a little bit of a panic. There is a website called, I think it's 538.com.
Okay.
Or 537. Hold on. Let me just, I'll type 5 and then it'll pop up. 538.com, all is one word. And what they do is they take all of the legitimate, realistic polling data, they run it through simulations, and they come up with a prediction of how it's looking the election will go. It was almost a dead heat on Monday for the chance of winning. I have been watching since Trump has been trumping the media over trying to walk back the debate results.
Yeah.
And it's gone from like a 45 to a 45 point to a 44 point. Now it's 67.3% Clinton, 32.7% Trump.
Oh, really?
The other interesting thing to do about this is, if you watch it, I have watched Nevada and Colorado go from a red state. What they do is they start fading in color and then going to another.
Yeah.
Nevada and Colorado going blue in the past week.
Really? And those are big swing states.
Florida as well has gone from pink to blue.
Another swing state. Utah, who notoriously has not been happy with Trump, has been encouraged.
Red.
Yep, has been encouraged by all of its representatives to support the party, and so it will be voting red this year.
That is interesting to think about when you put party before country, depending on your beliefs.
Sure.
But that's kind of interesting. But I wouldn't expect Utah to change. But at the same time, here's the thing. Here's the hypothetical that I'm waiting to see. And given the way this election is going and the way the rest of the world views this, because that was the other thing too that I noticed during the debate, was at one point Clinton seemed to put the brakes on everything and just say, I just want to take a moment to what was the word she used?
As assure our foreign allies.
Thank you. She took a moment to say, I know there's a lot of basically what the summary was. I know you're hearing a lot of crazy shit in this election cycle, but I assure you that when I'm in the White House, we're still going to keep business as usual, and you don't have to be concerned. Nobody's evading you because you haven't paid your NATO fees or whatever it is.
Yep.
So I found that very interesting that she took the time to stop and do that because once again, a very subversive and diabolical move.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it's essentially saying it's trying to appear presidential while also undercutting the opponent. Just nearly surgical is the way this thing came across. So the hypothetical I want to talk to you about, though, Trent, let's just imagine that the momentum seems to keep going the way it is, knowing that we're still 38 days away. This could go any which way possible.
Sure. And we will see ups and downs until then.
But let's say it's the hypothetical, and in fact, Donald Trump does lose the election. In that scenario, do we actually get a concession speech?
Well, and to Lester Holt's credit, he did literally force answers from both candidates. Will you then support the winner?
Well, he asked the question. Clinton said, I would naturally support our government. And that's choice. When, and I swear to God, I think that's at the point where Donald Trump invoked Rosie O'Donnell. I don't know, but
but he did say that he would support the decision by the people
eventually. Yeah. So after Holt having to ask for a clarifying point, he did say he would. So that said, though, just from what we've seen from the Twitter behavior, the insisting how these snap polls are something, because it's the only here's the thing that terrifies me, Trent.
Sure.
And yeah, okay, I'm kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve with this one, or at least No, pardon me, I'm showing my hand as it were, but like I personally felt insulted by Donald Trump. And the reason why was because of the presentation of these non-scientific polls as a result. And I'm telling you this right now, if it were reversed, if it were Hillary Clinton doing this, if literally everything had been reversed and let's say Clinton lost the debate and she were trying to use these snap polls to justify, I would be equally as aggravated because it's an attempt to dupe people with lies, which
well, I mean, let's go back and look at the first debate between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. Mitt Romney wiped the floor with Obama. Like it was, if I'm remembering this correctly, Romney really did a fantastic job. And so that was a chance for Obama go back to his team, assess what they had done, and then he came back and won the last two, hands down.
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the hypothetical then. Here's another hypothetical. Okay, so
sure.
So you believe there would be a concession speech?
Yes, to some extent, yes. I think there would be a concession speech. There would be a lot of rhetoric involved explaining why he didn't win.
Do you think it would be the biggest woe is me, cryberry baby excuse one then?
You know what? I don't think it will, because if he doesn't win, we're gonna see him not necessarily go radio silent, but be less active for a while until he launches his new alternative to Fox News in media. I am dead serious on that. That is going to happen if he doesn't win.
He's going
if he does win, it'll yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be Trump news.
Well, it'll be
CNN.
It'll be something along those lines. Yeah, absolutely. He's been positioning himself for it for a while. And if you look at the people he's got on his team,
I just figured it out, dude. It's gonna be Trump News America, TNA. Anyway, so
he loves TNA. Young TNA.
Here's the other thing too. Do you think there's going to be, because I realized too, by the way, his going to his followers on Twitter and Facebook and trying to say it during the media as well, like interviews. Maybe media interviews are the only point where he really is in any way communicating a message outside of his base. So I really shouldn't let that get to me so much. But I really do hate the fact that he's also constantly contradicting himself in the news when in saying things that he quote unquote didn't say, but he did.
Right.
Now, part of the thing that this has made me wonder is he do you think that this is a diabolical scenario wherein he purposely planned on tanking the first debate so that way he could have a comeback story?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I because for him, honestly, I think it's win at all costs in every scenario. And that's just his mantra in his philosophy for life, whether it be business, morality, marriage, etc. Win at all costs.
And I think so this comes back to my belief then that I think as a person, basically, he fully and completely believes his own bullshit.
Yeah.
So much so, I mean, it's self-delusional is what I would
yeah, for sure. I actually had a conversation, and granted, it's speculative because there's no research done from any one person, but I did speak with a psychiatrist this week who said, that's textbook narcissism. Like the definition of it is everything he does. So
okay, well that's an interesting take, but of course, one of the things that the psychiatric profession has done is they don't give opinions on active candidates. So
sure, exactly. Yep.
The thing about the polls, and the reason why I bring up the believes his own bullshit thing, and I'm sorry if you do support Trump and you feel like we're bashing him. I'm not trying to, but seriously, complaining about the media and Lester Holt and anyone else not grilling Hillary about things, it isn't a basis for arguing, because if you keep feeding the beast, it's not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, and there's a couple of different things though. He did bring up Lester brought up a couple of things about her emails, and she did is the politically, I don't know, more acceptable thing in saying, yeah, I screwed up. Like, that's on me, and I would there's no one else to blame but me on that one. And that's usually how you deal with any type of scandal, right? You when the consensus is that you screwed up, you own it, right?
Well, that's the only thing you can do. It's throwing yourself on the grenade.
Right.
So anyway, the reason why I kind of fell into this, I think he believes his own bullshit, is because there was another article I was reading, and because I, like, in the beginning of the week, I was getting like, how can you say these polls show anything? I mean, you can't possibly. I think part of it was just I was frustrated because I'm like, you can't possibly believe this yourself, even though you're disseminating it. So that's not presidential. That's what bugs me. In case you're all wondering, it all comes down to being presidential for me.
Yeah.
Really, above all else. And in this, there was another article where somebody was, they were saying that during an interview cycle during the primaries, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
One of the things that he gave to people, like during the interview to show how things are going, was some of these instant snap polls. He's like, look at how I'm tracking, and they said, well, these aren't scientific data, so they can't be really used as the basis. And then he seemed to accept it, but then in a couple moments later wanted to come back to it. Well, then why doesn't this count?
Yeah,
kind of thing. So the only thing that I can believe then is that he believes his own delusions. And it's like, do you really think he walked out of the debate thinking he won it on Monday?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I do.
Do you think that? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I just can't relate to these things. By the way, we are not here to please you. Raphael Nowak on Twitter says the reason why our show isn't more funny is because of a broken microphone. Don't believe the media.
It's funny. That's good.
Actually, he said there was an issue with his microphone, and it was true.
Really?
Yeah, Politico ran a story that the debate commission does say there was an issue. We at home didn't hear it, but it was audible in the room through the PA system. That's where the issue was.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So he did have a point, but then my counter to that is, well, you're going to deal with adversity if you're in office as well. So you're not going to be able to tell the such and such from this country that, well, I had a microphone issue, so.
It's so interesting because if there's one thing that politics and popular culture, the fictional side, so I'm looking at like The West Wing, I'm looking at Veep. If there's one thing that it has done for me, aside from like the fantastic escape but mirror of reality that it is, and just the fantastic storytelling, is it has shown how busy the president is. You know what I mean? Like their day from the second they are planned to wake up to the second they are planned to go to sleep is packed with stuff to do. There is like even your quote unquote downtime is scheduled in, right? And that's the crazy thing about it is like I don't know if he's prepared for that. Do you know what I mean? Because
this is the same guy who has said that he prefers to go into the office without a schedule and just see what the day brings him.
Totally, man. Like on top of that, and again, these are just things that are out there. And anyone who's watched last week tonight, this 2 week last weekend.
Oh God, with the raisins.
Yes, exactly. Where they actually show like, look, Hillary has done some shady shit, and she probably isn't the best person in the world that could be running the country. Here's some shit she's done. Here's some shit that Donald Trump has done. But at the end of the day, like when you refuse to put your assets into a blind trust, there is no way that cannot affect your daily routine. And for me, that's the biggest thing. Like I just want someone who is 100% dialed in to running I mean, it's sad that this is the criteria that all I care about right now is someone who can dedicate 24/7 to running the country.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I mean, like, well, and
that's
that's
kind of what it comes down to, man.
well, that's the crazy thing about this. Senior Smoke, by the way, on Twitter, pointing out NetHeads getting political whenever we damn well feel like it. That sounds like it could be run right in an ad right there.
Dislike.
Oh wait, hold on. I also, this is a gem I never get tired of. Let me just.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Hopefully you feel the same way after listening to this one. Trent, hypothetical situation with the president. One of the things that we are, first of all, this week. Oh man, the CW shows are all coming back.
Oh, and available online.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think Supergirl actually premieres next week. This is the thing that I love. We live in an era where a television network is launching their new programming night with the Flash.
Boom, folks. Boom.
The CW's new network, their new programming, their new fall schedule launches with the Flash at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Well, no, what's crazy is actually how damn good the Flash is.
Yeah.
So I want to say that because, of course, 6 weeks after that, or sometime around there, we'll get to see the episode of Kevin's that he directed. Also, one of the new shows, this is where I was going with the presidential hypothetical. I don't know if you've heard about this one. It's called Designated Survivor.
Oh, I haven't. Go on.
I was willing to check it out because it's headed up by Kiefer Sutherland. He's the lead actor. And then you hear about the scenario and you'll understand why I at least had to give the pilot a chance. If I ever watched a day of 24 in my life, I had to give this pilot a chance. So apparently during every major gathering of our government, there is a designated survivor that is chosen to be at a separate location so that in the event that a cataclysmic event should happen, the U.S. government can continue.
There's always the succession of who would be president, who would be chief of staff, who would, etc.
Yeah, and so during the and this is during the president's State of the Union, I think it was. One of those ones where they're all in session and they're all there. The house, it's blown up. It blows up. Boom, kaboom. All the government. So, like, literally, it's the way the room is. You know, he's just sitting in a conference room somewhere on the other part of Washington, D.C., and, you know, they're watching the speech, and then suddenly the transmission just goes out. And then next thing you know, you open the Secret Service comes in and says there's been an incident. You open the window, see a big mushroom cloud. Then you're getting whisked away to be sworn in.
Holy shit, dude.
And that person is Kiefer Sutherland. So it's already now we've got
goddamn Jack Bauer.
Well, but it's not. This is not. He was like the whatever of housing, the head of housing, and
he's like the Secretary of Agriculture.
No, even worse. It was like housing and urban renewal. Now he's the president, ladies and gentlemen.
Not unlike we saw in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting thing, though, because he is just thrown into this leadership role. So, again, it's like you see all the things that the day encompasses, and you're like, who wants this job?
Yeah.
Why?
Dude, I really, like, I don't wish it on anyone.
No, I mean, look what it has done to people. Look at Obama in 8 years, my friends.
I don't know if you've seen it. There was a video that came out a little while ago. I'll see if I can find it and I'll post it. It is hilarious. It's Obama dealing with like that he's coming up in you know what is termed the lame duck period of his presidency. And so it's like him just like trying to like take it easier and like adjust back into real life. And then if I remember right, Mitch McConnell comes out from the side and they do this whole thing together. No, not Mitch McConnell, John Boehner. He comes out and like he tries to get him to like smoke a cigarette and stuff. Oh my, in front of the camera. I'll see if I can find it. It is hilarious. But yeah, it's that same idea of like holy shit, man, nonstop.
Yeah, who wants that? Who wants that headache? By the way, on Twitter, that fracking cat pointing out that, and I think in the show they literally say this, he was the bottom of the secession list. Like
Jeez.
it doesn't get any lower. It's like, okay, this is after this you start going to military generals and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they introduce a lot of things. First of all, he was actually about to I don't want to say get fired from his job, but he was being offered an ambassadorship.
Right, kind of like putting him out to pasture.
You don't have to. Hey, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
You can't stay here.
So that was in play, and like the day of this happens, and he's just like, "Well, can I have a day to think about it?" And they're like, "Sure." So you're like wondering, well, is that going to come up? And then there is the whole, okay, well, who just blew up the entire government?
Right. Yeah.
So
and now you're gonna have to like work with the retaliation. Oh my God, that is brilliant, right? Like that's great.
And they've also laid out an underlying potential for a military coup as well.
Oh my God.
So they got a lot of things in play. One of my biggest things that I have issues with when I look at the descriptions for television shows is I'm like, okay, well, how long can the base idea be carried on?
Right.
How far until we can't get away from this anymore? And now it's just a treadmill of suck.
Yeah.
And in that concept, originally I'm like, okay, well, where is that going to go? And the only thing that ever comes up that would be insulting would be presenting any cliffhangers that may say he wouldn't be the president, because it's half the premise of the damn show. So come on.
Yeah.
Don't be insulting to us. Although, with Veep, you never would have expected that Selena Meyer actually became the president. And I never would have thought they would have had the balls to actually remove her completely from office. Spoiler season 6.
I was just gonna say spoiler alert.
Whatever. Sorry, I let it out.
Oops.
But no, it's ballsy. It's interesting to see where it goes, and the fact that they just won an Emmy. So, but anyway, I wanted to say that show is definitely one that I would encourage people to watch and look out for.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring that up. Getting back into the radio skew of things, I read an article. And it's interesting for me to see like Harley coming into this universe, right? This well-established fan base. And I don't know a whole lot about her interests and everything else. It's not like she's doing 5 podcasts a week. And so there was this article I read from justjared.com. It's just basic Q&A stuff. And one of the questions was, what's your, favorite movie or TV show that you're currently obsessed with? And she goes on and talks about Supergirl.
Damn.
Yeah, like I didn't see that one coming, and she speaks really highly of it. And the other thing that it reminded me of that I'm gonna check out this weekend and would encourage others to do it. Maybe we can chat about it next week, or if not, you can always jump over to the World of Kevin Smith Facebook group. I'm sure people are talking about it there already. But Holidays, which was a bunch of horror shorts collected together, came out in April. It's now available on streaming. Kevin directed one, the Halloween holiday in the holidays.
Halloween.
Ian, yeah, thank you. But she
geez,
talks about it in this article, which is really interesting because where she's playing like a cam girl and how vehemently opposed her mother was at the idea of this as a strong feminist, but then how they kind of came to an understanding and were able to like deal with it and everything. But yeah, I'll post the link up for that article. But yeah, have you seen Holidays?
I've seen the Kevin's. I took the time to watch the Kevin Smith segment.
Oh yeah, I really want to watch it.
Which was just like, oh my God, what? Because it takes an interesting twist, because I mean, in the story there's basically just a walking bag of garbage, but it's at one point as a guy you get sympathetic.
Yeah.
You're like, well, no, I shouldn't care about this guy's existence, but and then you're like, oh God, that's what? Yeah, seriously. I have seen it. Check it out.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say? I don't think there's much else. Oh, dude. One of the things that I have had to actually make an adult choice and avoid because it dropped Thursday night to Friday morning midnight.
Likewise, yes.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, sucker.
I watched 15 minutes of it and said, nope, no. Because if I go any further,
You have to keep going.
I may not come back.
Yeah, it's true. It's really funny. The night it dropped, there was a planned Comcast outage in my area. Oh boy, there were a lot of upset geeks on social media in northern Utah.
Are you serious? Wow. Yes. They're like, we got to do the maintenance. Nobody thought maybe we should do. Pardon me. Nobody thought, hey, this is a little on the nose, guys. Right? I mean,
Yep.
But that's what happens when you're a double-edged sword and you're a cable company that provides service, but you're also the owners of NBC.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, when you're Viacom, it's like, oh, wait a second. Maybe we don't want people. We'll make them watch something else that's not Netflix.
Yeah, I don't think that goes over very well, is all I'm saying. Well, obviously not. I can't even imagine. You know, like I said,
all I'm saying, folks, is we wouldn't let Ford own the roads.
No, we wouldn't.
Why would we let Viacom own the internet delivery?
I don't know. Actually, you know, there's a company out here that is offering just internet service. They're slowly expanding to fiber optic neighborhoods named Sonic. And it's been a long time since I've just seen an internet delivery system.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, that's not really bad.
Yeah. So I have seen, I've gotten a taste of Luke Cage. I like what it is I'm seeing. Although I will say, after a few minutes of what I saw, one of the things I instantly questioned was if they did a switcheroo, and is this happening before Jessica Jones and not after?
Well, I would, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know. I'm hoping it shows his origin story, because it is, I mean, when you think about his origin story, it makes me cringe when I think about the history of testing on African Americans by our government.
Oh yeah, like with the whole syphilis thing.
Yeah, with the whole Tuskegee experiments and everything.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Well, that's understandable. And especially, I think during the circumstance, you know, it was an experimental thing. But you know, have you seen the trailers? Because that's the way they bring the bracelets and the upside down tiara in.
Yeah.
That's part. So they do show part of his origin story. They show him coming out of the tank after whatever happened. And yet, sure enough, he's got the headband. He's got the yard. You're like, ah.
Well, and again, I'm not sure who's writing this. I need to look into it more. But I think the whole season 2 of Daredevil, Christos Gage, who's one of my favorite comic book writers, was kind of the lead writer on it. They did such a good job of placing Punisher's origin story in the perfect spot. Instead of just like giving it right off the bat, like it lets you form an opinion of him first and then gives you this origin story that's so heart-wrenching and like makes you feel something completely different for the character. I hope they do the same thing in this.
That would be nice. It would definitely be nice. So I did have to Google it, and I believe this is a post Jessica Jones world that we're in, but it was still, it made me wonder, because to me, that would be one of the most brilliant things, is if they told us this story and then we discover we're actually in the 70s. And one of the things about having unbreakable skin is that you don't age the same.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
or maybe, to borrow the term that Mark Bernardin mentions, just to an extreme, black in this case truly don't crack.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, right. Speaking of Mark, for those who don't know, it's a regional chain store, Hastings, going out of business, so they're fire selling everything. I went in 2 weeks ago and literally just pillaged and plundered their comic book section. But I was able to pick up a whole bunch of Mark's DC comics that he's written.
Oh, now what ones were they? I know he's mentioned it on Fat Man on Batman.
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I was going through so fast. I just saw, oh, Mark, boom. Grabbed it.
I must see his words now.
Yeah, I Justice Society, maybe? I don't remember. Anyway, I'm stoked though. Picked a whole bunch of stuff up there from a fellow Smod family member.
I don't know what that means.
Well, just, you know, in the network.
Really?
Mark Bernardin.
Oh, you're putting us on the same level as Kevin's shows. I was confused. Sorry.
Only in distribution.
Only in the way that all RSS feeds are created equal.
Exactly. The democratization of the internet.
Although it is nice that we're listed in this section as shows better than his, but I don't believe that header to save my life.
Before we do go, Will, we've got to give a shout out on Twitter using the hashtag NetHead to Lou K. Sutcliffe, who originally started out with the tweets. For once, I'm up at a time listening to NetHeads live, and I'm stuck trying to lose risk as fast as possible.
Well, and then 2 minutes ago, ex-girlfriend just won. Excellent. Only problem is we're wrapping up.
Yeah, sorry. Game over, man.
Ain't that a nethead's luck, right? Oh, damn, man. Actually, today's already been. I'm amazed that we actually ran long, and I apologize to my wife in advance on that via this recording, because I started off the day. I had to take my mom to the airport. She went to go visit friends in Texas, and
nice.
so to make sure I would not wake up late, I had to have alarms starting to wake me up at 4 o'clock.
Oh, dude.
After the full trip was done, I got back at 7:40 or something. Proceeded to start a pot of coffee. And while I was waiting for the pot to finish, fell asleep on the couch until 9. So it's already been a long day, but I'm excited because I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but Blair, our youngest, who is now 2 years old plus.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, I know. It's just that, doesn't it seem like just yesterday I was begging for extra shekels here and there from our listeners, and I'm sure you've looked upon this and gone, we could really be doing that for the show. Will, maybe you put some of that effort back in. Anyway, she's 2, and one of the things that we do every Saturday right now from 4:45 to 5:15 is a parents and me soccer class offered by Kids Love Soccer.
Holy shit, that's a great idea.
You have never seen anything cuter than 2 to 3-year-olds trying to do a concentrated effort of kicking around a soccer ball. Also, you've never seen anything more challenging than trying to maintain focus. Because there'll be little moments and suddenly some of them realize we're in left field of actually a baseball field. And, oh, look, there's the diamond over there. I want to go see the dirt. And
I want to go play baseball.
And then they all go, like, where are you going? No, come back. It's like, okay, so you're going to chase me. Let's go. You need to kick the ball at me. Where are you going? And then she's gone. And she is just Blair is nothing but she's got a head, she's got hands and feet, and then there's nothing but muscle in between.
Yeah.
So she just
charge, boom.
Just like, and then the bad thing is for me when she's out doing that, it's like, oh, suddenly, oh God, everyone's gonna see the fat guy chasing after the little kid.
Oh, I'm gonna end up on YouTube, or,
yeah, exactly.
Or even worse, a Vine.
Dude, you know what? I think you really wrapped up what my base paranoia truly is. Like, oh God, please don't make me a YouTube sensation this way.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, thank you very much for sticking around. We really appreciate it. Didn't mean to get so political, but I got to say, as an American citizen right now, it is the strangest election year ever.
Yeah, it is. It's just bizarre.
The strangest. I mean, I never would have thought a U.S. presidential candidate for a major party would, in a tweet or any other form of communication, tell us all to go see the sex tape.
It's going to be a weird 4 years, Will.
Oh man, I either way, yes, it is. Well, and that's the other thing too. Apparently, one of the other things I hit upon is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but even during the election cycle of the primaries, there was even talk at that time. Donald Trump. I almost think this whole, the system is rigged thing is a way to start a narrative upon the impossible yet somehow possible conclusion that he doesn't win the election. And the other thing too is that I'm wondering if we're going to see the same type of reaction that we did in the 2000 election,
right?
Where after the fact, because he does have people that attend these gigantic rallies. So is there going to be a major part of the population that is going to be insisting on recounts? Are we going to go to the Supreme Court again? The aftermath of this is very interesting as well. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, though, I have a funny feeling that whoever is in office, the subsequent election cycle, if Trump does not win, not whoever, but if he doesn't win, I think we're going to see probably the most chaste, if you will, presidential campaign next time around.
For sure.
Because what else? I don't know. When the bar is this low, there's nowhere to go but up. I don't know what to say.
Only time will tell.
I mean, seriously, aren't you? Because if you think about this, there are people outside of our country that do listen to this, our podcast here.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know about you, but like, I'm afraid to talk to anyone from any other country because like, I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know if you remember, but I remember because it was relevant to, things going on in my life at the time. If you went abroad during the Bush administration, you were encouraged to tell everyone you were Canadian. we might be
not for nothing. Are you saying that the church told you guys to do that?
No, of course not. Never.
By the way, _fresh23_ on Twitter just provided us a lovely new banner. Trump presents NetHeads. No.
Hey, let's just cut for a commercial from our sponsor now, shall we?
Huge sponsor, huge. Hey, by the
Yep.
way, speaking of sponsorship, Trent.
Yeah.
One of the things that we haven't done in a long time.
No, Will, what? Did you like that?
No, my favorite part was the sigh of resignation before it.
Well, I was trying to come up with something. I'm just like, nope, I got nothing.
It's like, I gotta listen to this guy shill now. For fuck's sake. No. No, Will, what is that?
Yeah, what? You don't say. I love
Actually,
Crop
look,
Finger.
you know what? I'm not going to do a full-blown commercial. I'm not going to do. It's not going to be the full music. But I one of the things that makes it easiest to encourage people to sign up for something and to do something is to use it. Not only use it, but to actually pay for it and use it, and then actually enjoy it. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, I'm NetHeadWW on Twitter, and one of the things that you will see that I do quite frequently right now is I am using Twitter to evangelize Blue Apron in many ways.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm doing that is because I've seen I've directly seen a savings on my grocery spending now because I am using Blue Apron. My family is
and you're probably eating better too.
We're eating healthier because we're using Blue Apron. Blue Apron has deals with local communities and small businesses to ensure that we're getting the freshest ingredients sent to us locally. So that way we know they're not traversing half the country. So yeah, we're eating healthier because each meal is somewhere between, I think they say like 500 and 700 calories or 700 and 900 calories, whatever it is per serving. Now, Trent, not only that, but if you think about it, it's like $10 per person per meal. So come on.
Yeah.
That's less than restaurant eating. And best of all, like I said, you don't have to go to the grocery store. Every night I get done working. I have the benefit of working from home. So I step out of my office and I go into the kitchen, and I myself, after a day of working, the last thing I want to do is go to the grocery store. But I'm able to take out all my ingredients, or I take out the meat ahead of time. So I know it'll be room temperature when I need it. And I'm able to just sit there and make these interesting meals that I never would have thought of making for my family. And I've been able to do that through Blue Apron. Now, the reason why I feel comfortable saying this, folks, I am not compensated for this, especially if you don't sign up. But this is not a paid advertisement per se. And also, I don't receive Blue Apron for free. You think, oh, well, Will, you're the guy that does the audio stuff for the network, and they run ads all over the place. So naturally, you must be getting this for free. No, I'm not. I pay for it. I use the service myself. And like for us, we're a family of 3, although we are a family of 4. Blair isn't necessarily going to be eating the squash pasta, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
So if we really like it, we get to like divide that final portion up amongst ourselves, or somebody's got a tasty meal the next day for leftovers. But it's fun. It's convenient, and I gotta say, I really thoroughly enjoy it. And one of the best things too, they send these easy to follow instructions, Trent, that not only are they easy to follow, but they're yours to keep. I have made these Fontina cheeseburgers on
ciabatta bread.
Yes, on
Yes!
ciabatta. How did you know?
Because you've talked about it. This is like your favorite dish.
Oh, it is, because you've also got like a dressed kale that goes on top of them. And one of the diabolical things that they do with this recipe is that you thinly slice garlic, and then I think it's sage or some other, I don't know, it's one of them darn spice herb things.
Sure.
And one of the things you do is you take some, you put in like 2 tablespoons of oil, and then you quickly fry the garlic and herbs. You take them out, and then they become part of the potato dish. But now your oil is infused with those flavors, and that's what you use to cook the burgers in. So look, they just reduced me having to cook inside of another container, and we repurposed that flavored olive oil to add an extra bit of flavor to these hamburgers.
Yeah,
it's stuff I never would have thought of. We had the other day, we had a shrimp and udon noodle salad that had mint and carrots and kale and.
Dude, I fucking love udon noodles.
Oh, they are it's just
like. The Japanese know how to do noodles right, man.
Oh, they do. Because an udon, that's a noodle with like, it's got girth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a noodle that'll make you feel full if you have too many. That's for sure. And you know, if there's anything I'm looking for in this world, it's to feel full from a nice thick noodle.
That's all we can hope for.
Anyway, folks, it's real simple. NetHeadsOnAir.com. Click the blue apron banner ad. You get to take $30 off of your first order. So if you're 2 people, that's almost like 3 orders for free, I think, if you do the math. So, please, if you haven't taken advantage of it yet, I encourage you to go to netheadsonair.com, click the blue apron item logo, and get yourself signed up. Get some free food on us, and I guarantee you're going to love it. And I think they guarantee it too. It's really wonderful. You get to choose what you want once you sign up for it. You don't have to take every delivery. You can go on ahead and you can unselect some. We're coming out of the summer season. The dishes are looking a little better because, you know, one thing I do notice during the end of the week when a lot of the Christian or Catholics would be avoiding beef, there's always some type of seafood meal in the family plan.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
If you're not doing the family plan and you're just doing the 2-person plan, you have a little, I will admit, you get a little more variety that way in being able to choose and unchoose things. But for the family plan, they always put that nice fish dinner around Friday. You know, there's a reason why. I never realized this, Trent, but Catholicism, man, that's the reason why every Friday it's clam chowder Friday.
And without it, we wouldn't have dogma.
Exactly. So until next time, folks, my name is Will.
I'm Trent.
And you've been listening to another edition of NetHeads via the Smodco Internet Network, which you can find only one place. Where is that, Trent?
It's at smodcast.com.
And I always love the fact that, whoa.
Did you like that? I was for those watching or on the podcast, yeah, I came correct, brother.
You made me stop in my tracks. I forgot what I was doing. That's right, smodcast.com.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker.
Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
Oh, it doesn't have the do. It's what happens when you go to a new system.
NetHeads.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, one of the things right now, one of those little thin client computers, I switched over the audio to one of those. But I don't really think this is a good thing, Trent, because all I've effectively done is I've been able to take a laptop off of the desktop.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
No, because now it's just I'm able to fill that spot with more crap.
But like if you're like me, you find things at stores going out of business, and you get a sweet new Guardians of the Galaxy 3000. That's the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Yondu, the Archer. How rad is that, man?
That is that is pretty cool. I wasn't aware we were going to be having a comparison.
It's like you show me yours, I'll show you mine. Will
this isn't as cool, but you know, I will say
later.
If you're ever having to do administration on a system and you don't want to spend a lot of time switching keyboard and mouse around, if you pick up one of these little it's a wireless keyboard. That whole thing right there, it's got the
yeah.
Best of all, though, is that it's automatically paired and built to the USB dongle, and it doesn't require drivers. So, like anytime I need to I have this into my inbox, but anytime I need to also work on a system, I can unplug that and instantly I got a keyboard and mouse on any computer. So that is that kind of cool. Does that compare?
You said dongle.
See, that's where I was supposed to do this.
It's the second time in a row.
Quit screwing me up, you fool.
Sorry.
It's okay.